everyone, and welcome back to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. It's the podcast where we watch The Great Muppet Caper 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Anthony Strand.
And I'm your other host, Ryan Rowe.
And joining us today, we have a very special guest star indeed. Tell the listeners who you are, special guest.
I'm Jordan Brandon. I don't know why my name is funny, but that's who I am.
Some names are just funny, man.
We've never done this before. I've never recorded this in the same room with someone who wasn't my wife before. Okay. Jordan's one of my best friends from high school.
High school?
And he, from high school,
wow,
that's right.
Great.
This is the man who introduced me to Weird Al Yankovic, in fact.
That's really important.
It's actually not in person, just his music.
No, you came over to my house with a copy of Off the Deep End.
That sounds accurate.
And we listened to it on a tape player in my backyard.
That was my first Weird Al album.
All right.
It's like we're all related.
We
It's
are.
like we're all in our mid to late 30s.
Right. There you go.
I don't know how old you are, Ryan. I'm just assuming.
He's in his mid to late 30s.
Yes,
all right,
yeah.
then.
So today we are talking about minutes 27 and 28 of The Great Muppet Caper. As these minutes open, we see Gonzo flinging himself in front of a taxi cab. It turns out that the taxi cab is driven by Beauregard, who takes them to the lobby of the Happiness Hotel. So, Jordan, I want to start with you because you've actually never seen The Great Muppet Caper before.
That's true.
And
Crazy.
that was a big part of why we invited you on. I wanted to see someone who's never seen the movie, how a scene works out of context. So I'm going to ask you, like, up front, what did you think about this?
I thought it was pretty good. And I think, I should clarify, I've never seen this movie, but I do at least have some affinity for the Muppets. I've seen other Muppets things. So it's not like it's totally foreign to me.
You've
but I
seen
think,
several of the
watching
other movies. You just haven't seen this one.
Right, exactly.
Right,
yes. So seeing 2 minutes of it out of context, sure, it's kind of weird, but it's also kind of the nature of Muppet stuff that jokes are happening constantly, and most of the time they're not referring to anything that happened more than 10 seconds.
Right. It's not a very continuity heavy.
Especially this one, I would say.
Right. So, I mean, to me, it held up as a 2-minute clip.
Sure.
Like, I got a little mini story.
Sure. Yeah. It was just kind of like you were watching a Muppet video on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. All right. Well, so Gonzo, the first thing we see here is Gonzo Gonzo is in midair, I think, at the start of this clip.
Yes, last week we left him right in the middle of, flying through the air.
Right. So here we see him throw himself in front of a taxi cab. And what I love is that Kermit and Fozzie both seem genuinely horrified when he lands.
So does the doorman of the building behind them. He recoils at the same time, which I love.
All three of them. Yeah. The classic gang, Kermit, Fozzie, and the doorman.
The doorman.
So did the doorman throw him? I got the impression
No,
from...
Gonzo threw himself.
He did? Okay,
yeah,
this is proof that I don't know what I'm talking about, because somehow body language told me that the doorman had thrown him.
Sure.
I thought for some reason. I guess not.
No, they needed a taxi and one wouldn't stop, so Gonzo just jumped into traffic.
All right, fair enough.
And then actually when he gets, Kermit says that seems effective or whatever it is. And Gonzo says, yeah, it's great when it works, implying that his goal was actually to be hit by a car. And
right, or
disappointed
or at the very least that sometimes it doesn't work that way and he does get run over.
That's how I took it, yeah.
Yeah, I always thought he was disappointed that, it was fine, but it's great when it works. And I get hit by a car.
So I took it the same way Ryan did, but I thought the tone was weird because...
Kermit's goal was to get a taxi to stop, and Gonzo has done that. His method works.
Yeah.
Right. But it didn't work for Gonzo as well.
Right, he would probably prefer getting run over.
I didn't see it that way at first, but now that you say that, I think that makes more sense with the way he says that line.
Sure. All right. Well, it looks like I win this round.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so the cab stops, and the driver welcomes them into the car. The driver is our old pal Beauregard.
Well, I want to say the cab really does, it stops so suddenly right in front of Gonzo, and I kind of, what do you call it, shuttled or scrubbed back and forth a couple times. This must be a really talented stunt driver, I guess, or they must have done it several times to get this right, because just a few inches more, and that cab actually would have run over Gonzo.
Right.
Unless it's something where they're shooting it in reverse, but then we actually see Gonzo flying through the air, so I don't think they could have done it in reverse.
I mean, they could do that too, but
okay. So how does this car work? Because I know you guys when you're going through the Muppet movie, you talked a lot about how the car was being driven,
and I think in the close-up scenes, it's the same thing here.
Okay,
because we definitely see
it's such a tiny car. How do we fit people in this? It makes more sense
in the big Studebaker, right? Or in the big station wagon, even more. But when I swear we see real city passing behind them as they drive, even in the close-ups. Like it doesn't look rear projected. It doesn't look green screened or anything. To me, I don't. Do you disagree?
That can be done by towing the car behind another car with the camera pointing through the windshield. But you're right; it doesn't look like rear projection.
Well, but I was going to say in the wide shots where the car is, as we're going to see, they're kind of speeding through town and doing sharp turns and all that. We kind of see Beauregard in some of those shots, in the driver's seat. But I kind of wonder if that just isn't a stunt driver wearing a Beauregard mask.
Do we ever really get I don't think we ever get a clear look at him like we did of Fozzie in the Muppet movie, where you can tell that it's a puppet behind the wheel.
Right, you can see Beauregard's hat and hair, kind of.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder if it isn't just this is a Beauregard. This is if we saw it from the other side, it would just be like a guy sitting there with Beauregard's head on.
And it kind of helps, I think, that Beauregard's fur is dark, so you can't really. It's easy to sort of hide him in the shadow inside the car.
Right. So this is all conjecture. I don't think either of us knows.
No, we don't really know for sure.
But I will say, we've talked a couple of times about how this movie takes everything further than the Muppet movie. And a good example of that, I think, is Fozzie was driving out in the country. Right? Fozzie was a bear alone with no other cars around.
On the open highway.
On the open highway, and now they're driving through the city streets, doing crazy turns on crowded streets.
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff.
Driving up on the sidewalk.
Yeah, driving on the sidewalk. It's so much more intense than in the Muppet movie. So I think that I cannot imagine it's somebody in the hood, crouched under the hood of the car.
Oh, right, that would be far more dangerous and difficult.
It seems nearly, and like you said, Jordan, it's a smaller car.
Yeah,
too. So I would be amazed.
But I think it makes sense that. They could do it a totally different way for the wide shots where you wouldn't be able to see clearly who's in the driver's seat.
Right. Because that
makes sense.
It doesn't just needs to look enough like a Beauregard.
There's a lot going on. You guys might be studying who's in the driver's seat. Me as a casual observer is going to say, hey, look at that car doing a crazy thing.
Right. Right.
And this car, by the way, according to the Internet Movie Cars database, is a 1959 Austin A35. Which
it's a car from 1959.
Yeah, I kind of like that you can't tell. I mean, they did something similar in the Muppet movie where they used different cars from different eras, so you can't quite tell if this is supposed to be taking place in contemporary times or if it's a little bit in the past, or it all kind of lends to that sense of that timelessness. Yeah,
right. Well, and I suppose that's also only 22 years old
at this point. Yeah, that's true.
When they shot this, it was summer of 1980, so it's 21. So it'd be like a car from 1998.
Yeah, I guess so.
Not really that old.
Like my old Buick Century.
Just like your old Buick Century.
Yep.
Exactly what I was thinking. But so we should talk about Beauregard, because this is Beauregard's film debut.
Well, we actually mentioned this in the Muppet movie. According to Muppet Wiki, he is one of the puppets in the big, huge group finale of Rainbow Connection. Which was before he made his debut on the Muppet Show, but that maybe doesn't really count because he's not actually doing anything other than singing along with 1,000 other Muppets.
He may very well have just been a puppet that had been built at that time.
At that time, I think so.
But so here we get to really see him. Who is he? Who is Beauregard? He's the janitor on the Muppet Show. Who is Beauregard? He's the janitor on the Muppet Show, starting in season 3.
That answered a big question for me. I knew him, but I didn't.
He looked vaguely familiar.
Right,
sure.
Exactly.
He's the so what happened is Dave Goelz, who plays him, also plays Gonzo.
And Bunsen Honeydew.
Honeydew is Zoot. Whatever. In a special called Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, he played Emmett's best friend, Wendell Porcupine, who is a very similar, lovable dimwit kind of character.
Yeah, I wrote down dim-witted and good-natured.
Right, yeah. And Dave Goelz has talked about how he had such a good time playing that character in that special that the writing staff on the Muppet Show created Beauregard so that he could keep doing it, basically. It was just like a character type that he enjoyed. He does the exact same voice. They sound identical. So it's like a character that Dave Goelz willed into being just by saying, like, hey, I liked this other guy. Let's keep
pretty
doing
much.
It. So yeah, here he is in his feature debut, his first. I mean, he did extra work before, fine, whatever.
This is his real.
Well, then that counts as being him, right? Like if there's no character, it's just a puppet.
It's just a puppet. Yeah,
that doesn't count. That's not Beauregard.
This is Beauregard.
He was barely Beauregard before. Now he's truly Beauregard.
He's at his peak. So I'll ask you, Jordan, what do you think about Beau in this?
He's a lot of fun.
He's great, right?
Yeah, I like him. I think they did some interesting things with the way that they presented him not making any sense. That did a really good job. So the one, I mean, maybe I'm jumping a few seconds ahead of here, but when he explained that he's lived in London all his life, and they point out that he doesn't have an accent, then he says that he's lucky to have a driver's license, which has nothing to do with anything, but it's great because you ask the question the audience has and then just completely ignore it. And I think that's it's a cool Muppet thing that happens with the Muppets, but it's also, it seems like a good use of Beauregard to just say a bunch of dumb stuff that doesn't have to tie into anything.
Right.
You
but
just
it's
move
funny.
on immediately, and that's what's fun about it.
Well, and for him, that answer makes complete sense. And answers the questions. So that's the kind of fun stuff you can get away with a character like this.
Right. Well, and similarly, he lives at the Happiness Hotel. He just doesn't know how to get there.
He doesn't know how to get there.
So tell me if I'm being a little too nitpicky. He doesn't know how to get there, but he does apparently know how to get to specific rooms because he says, "What room are you in?"
Well, I guess once he gets to the hotel, he can find his way around the inside.
It doesn't matter what room it is. No, he can only go as far as the lobby.
Well, that's true. He does. He says, I can only take
He can't go to the second floor.
No, but it's because on the second floor.
Right, but he also, let's say it was some room on the first floor, he can only go as far as the lobby.
That might be. See, I don't know, because I think he can only go as far as the lobby because they're on the second floor.
I don't know anything about this hotel. I don't know where the rooms are relative to the lobby. Maybe he had to drive through several of the rooms to get to the lobby. I don't know.
That's true.
I think Beauregard is smart enough to know that he can't drive his car up onto the second floor of the hotel, but who knows?
Yeah, but so what he does do is he takes them as far as the lobby, and they arrive at the Happiness Hotel, which we had previously seen was a real hotel, like
a real exterior.
The exterior was a real exterior,
a real building in London.
Yeah, and now here it's clearly not because they drive into it, so. They must have built just like a false front.
I guess, just for the shot, but it's very convincing. It looks the same.
Yeah. So it's really impressive that
Unless
they did that.
They really did clear out that building and just drive straight through the door.
I can't imagine because the building's still there.
Yeah. But all they do is smash the door in. They don't crash into the wall or.
I guess so, but there must be something real behind it. They're not going to drive into the building.
Yeah. Either way, it's a very cool effect.
Yeah. Well, and I love Gonzo cackling with glee. He's
he's having the greatest time.
They pull into the door.
Yeah, which he starts doing, a little bit of the crazy driving earlier. You start seeing him really enjoying it, which makes sense. But because I have watched only 2 minutes of this movie and I watched it 10 times, you start picking out, dumb things, which is like one of them is he's completely silent for the first half of this ridiculous ride. He's completely disinterested.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's in character, having a great time.
Sure.
But I'm disappointed. They should have had him laughing and having fun the whole time. The whole movie's garbage.
Well,
throw it in the dumpster.
Here's what it is, though, I think. Dave Goelz plays Gonzo.
For sure. Yeah. Okay.
So I think when Beauregard's having a lot of dialogue,
you can't be doing a bunch of Gonzoing.
Dave's not Gonzo, so some other puppeteer doing Gonzo. So
all right, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I mean they could dub more dialogue over later, but I guess they figured it wasn't that important.
Well, it definitely wasn't.
Hey, something I just noticed for the first time ever this very second, looking at the clip? When the car drives through the door, you can see Beaker looking out the window on the left.
He's in the car?
No, in the window of the hotel. He's watching the car drive toward the hotel.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I never noticed.
Yeah.
I feel like we said a lot of important stuff about driving around London before we got to the hotel, though.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, so one of the important setups, right, is that when when Beauregard's trying to figure out how to get there to a place where he lives but doesn't know how to get to.
Mm-hmm.
They set up the joke of making a U-turn or saying to go straight makes him do a U-turn, right? So Kermit tells him just to go straight, does a U-turn because he's Beauregard, and then strangely after that, Kermit still wants him to go straight, even though he's trying to right. the position and he says to go straight. He makes another U-turn, so we kind of it's set up for what comes later.
I
obviously,
think you should make a U-turn.
And then also, I think the music that's playing in the cab is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it might be the Steve Martin cameo in this Muppet movie. It's not really.
The banjo.
But it's the type of music where if you were driving to Indianapolis with somebody that you didn't want to fall in love with, you'd want to listen to that kind of banjo music.
Well, it's actually a sort of instrumental variation of the Happiness Hotel song that we heard earlier. But it's primarily a banjo solo, which, again, I love that it's sort of this bluegrass sounding music for this movie that takes place in London.
Right. Yeah. It gives it a little bit of that American feel.
Yeah. And it really enhances this whole scene.
Bluegrass, yes. It's not even
good bluegrass. It's like, I know this is too early a movie, but it sounds like a bluegrass MIDI file.
It does. It kind of does. That's true.
Cool. It sounds like a fake banjo song that would play when you went to a website in the 90s.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it's like the music behind the hamster dance.
Yeah. I like it though.
It's real fun.
It is. It's good. So anyways, they crash into the hotel, and what I love about this is I feel like in any other movie, especially at this time, if like a car goes into a building, crashes into a building, it would be this big crazy moment. It would be the whole. It would be all these crash scenes in Blues Brothers, or the train going into the station at the end of Silver Streak, or it's always like this huge deal and people are running. In this one, they crash into the hotel, and like Janice looks up, sighs, and goes back to looking down. Pops just kind of chuckles and says, "You can never find a cab when you need one."
That is one of my favorite jokes in this movie.
Sure. Well,
there are many great jokes in this movie, but I just love that, like you're saying, that his delivery is so dry. I love it.
Well, and I just love how understated it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You can get away with it with puppets. Like, it's crazy because they're already puppets. But like, if this was a movie with humans, you couldn't do that. You couldn't have nobody reacting to a big crash like that.
Yeah, it would seem strange.
And instead, it's just kind of like, oh, this happens every day for them. Right. Beauregard's dropping people off all the time. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, Kermit and Finn don't even seem shaken. Like, Kermit hops out and says thanks and like gives him directions out. Like,
kind of.
Right.
Right.
They just accept it.
Yeah, that's just life. That's just what you do when you drop someone off at a hotel. So that just about brings us down to the end. We do end with Beauregard about to accelerate again. Beauregard heading forward after Kermit tells him to make a U-turn.
Well, a U-turn. I don't know how. I'm not saying it right.
You're saying it like Kermit, though.
No, you're right. Yeah, he says it. I don't think I've ever heard anyone emphasize the turn in the phrase U-turn like Kermit does.
Do you think Jim Henson talks like that or talked like that?
Probably.
I guess.
Yeah, he had a very idiosyncratic.
Okay.
Like, have you ever heard the way Jim Henson says curtain?
No, that's a very specific word to know what somebody says.
Okay, maybe. But it's curtain. And he says it. Ernie says it. Kermit, Rolf, open the curtain. Huh. Yeah. I've never heard anyone else say it like that.
The one I always notice is restaurant, which he says restaurant.
Restaurant, yeah, that's right. And they all do that too.
That one.
Guy Smiley even says restaurant, which you think Guy Smiley would really enunciate it, but he doesn't.
Right.
Okay, but also a U-turn would be a terrible way to get out of a hotel that you just driven straight into. Well, you could go in reverse and back straight up the way you came. Even if we had this language confusion where U-turn and straightforward are reversed. Forgetting that. A U-turn would be an awful way to get out of the situation he's in.
But you can probably imagine what happens next.
I would guess he goes straight forward. But I don't know. That's in the next
Do you want me to spoil?
I don't know.
Should we leave it a cliffhanger? You should. Yeah, I got the movie. If you want to borrow it.
I do. I'll watch it. It seems like a good movie.
It is.
Awesome.
But yes, please, spoil it for me.
He comes back through. He turns around and comes back through. He goes into the kitchen.
Okay.
And then the Swedish chef comes through with the steering wheel in a pot of spaghetti. It's great.
Okay, I like it.
So hopefully,
Spoilers for our
nobody-
listeners.
Though we always say like, hopefully nobody's listening who hasn't seen the movie.
It's been me the whole
You're probably
time.
gonna listen to these. You've
This
seen the
is the
Muppet
one and
movie,
only
though, right?
time.
And I don't. Are we? I might be breaking the fourth wall here about when we're recording this, but there have been 2 episodes of your podcast about this movie that have been released,
Right.
that I've listened to. So I know a lot about the credits of this movie at this point.
You know all about
Great.
Tom Patchett, Ray Tarsis.
Yeah, and learned a lot about language and storytelling from your second week guest,
Danny Horn, Tough
Yeah.
Pig's founder. Yeah,
Post-structuralist literary theory.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
that was a good one. Yeah, go back and listen to that one again, fans.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. All right. So that's all I have for this. Do you have any other notes? I'll start with you, Jordan.
No.
All right. Ryan, did you have anything else?
I have 3 things of varying length or prominence. Did you notice that his the license plate on Bo's taxi is Bo 676?
No, I didn't.
I assume that was intentional because his nickname is Bo, so that was funny. I don't know why 676, but it's a fun little detail.
That's his measurements.
Something like that. And I was just going to ask, did either of you ever play the PlayStation game Muppet Race Mania?
I never did. I saw videos about it.
Yeah.
I did not.
So Bo...
aren't like a bunch of the characters in it like Digit and stuff?
I don't remember if Digit's in that one. Maybe. There were a bunch of characters that you would not expect to see. And that you like.
Anyway, I've seen YouTube videos of
like
Steve Whitmire playing the newsman or whatever. Anyways,
but yeah, Beauregard is one of the like the boss races in the tournament mode or 1-player mode that you have to beat Beauregard in a race to advance in the game. So he's driving his little yellow taxi from this movie, and his little catchphrase that he says at the beginning of the race is, "I'm afraid I'm not a very good driver."
So that doesn't make him very intimidating.
Very accurate.
Yeah, well, that's true. He's one of the bosses.
Lose a race, man.
He's ruthless, as we see in this movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't mess around. He's like cutting people off.
Doesn't care who he murders.
Mm-mm.
But you have to assume that he's caused a few accidents in his day.
Yep.
And the other thing, I have one note from the July 22nd, 1980 draft of the screenplay. You can see as they crash through the lobby, they pass by Ralph, who's playing the piano.
Mm-hmm.
In the draft, Ralph is playing Rainbow Connection. And,
that would have been.
Yeah, and as they get out of the cab, Kermit says, "Ralph, wrong movie." And he says, "Oh yeah, sorry. I still think it should have won the Oscar."
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's a cute joke.
Kind of, and then Kermit should tell him to stop, and Ralph switches to playing "It Goes Like It Goes."
Now that would have been funny to
best original song.
Like that would have been funny to nobody now, but possibly a few people back then.
Right.
So in the movie as it is, I don't remember him playing long enough that we would notice what he's playing.
Yeah, I think it's still just kind of the same score is happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we really hear any of it.
You just see
He's
Ralph
just playing some piano banjo.
Yeah, he's playing piano. He has his Casio keyboard set to banjo.
Excellent.
Pretty good. Classic Ralph.
I assume. But yep, that's all.
All right, great. So that just about brings us down to the end. But before we go, Jordan, so you've never seen this movie, but like, what is your favorite Muppet stuff? Like, what's your history with the Muppets?
So from childhood, I have just kind of a general fondness. I saw the Muppet movie. I've seen at least parts of Muppets Take Manhattan. For whatever reason, none of this movie, but
Right.
But I don't have strong memories of any of this stuff from my childhood. But I was kind of like the Muppets. And then of course being friends with you for years,
Sure.
I was bound to be talking about Muppets from time to time. But more recently, I have 2 daughters who are 13 and 8 now. So when the newer set of Muppet movies came out, the most recent 2, my kids were about the right age to be into that sort of thing, and that was kind of a renewed interest for me. So then, having enjoyed those movies more than you guys do, I sought out more.
Yeah, I will say, in our defense, we both really love Muppets Most Wanted. Ryan and I.
Yeah, I love Muppets Most Wanted. I like the Muppets.
Doesn't do that much for me.
But that's what I found to be true, is that Muppets Most Wanted works better for like hardcore Muppet fans.
Okay.
And 2011 works better for casual Muppet fans. Like,
all right.
Obviously, that's not one-to-one, like whatever.
Sure, yeah.
There are exceptions. But in general, that seems to be the case.
All right. Well, and hey, my among hardcore Muppets people, my opinions are not going to be valid at all. Because, so as a result of that, I sought out more. And, this is, maybe 2012, 13, somewhere in there. I'm taking what I can get from Netflix, and that includes Muppets from Space.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not a good movie, but I enjoy it.
I'm on record as being a Muppets from Space fan.
So. And I think one of the scenes that if I remember right, that the hardcores hate is like the breakfast scene, right, where everybody's living in the house together.
That's like one of the highlights.
Really, I thought
everybody likes that because they're just hanging. There's Muppets hanging out.
The brick house number is, and then the couple of scenes or a few minutes after Brick House is all pretty solid.
Okay, cool. See, I thought I was under the impression that they would, because it was introducing this entirely new dynamic where like that's not how the Muppets live.
Sure,
that's not who they are.
And then like there are some people who are like, well,
they don't all live in a house together where Kermit's their dad.
But for the most part, like this movie has nothing to do with the Muppet movie. You know, like Kermit. I don't know if you know. You probably don't. They didn't say it. Kermit and Fozzie play identical twins in this.
I gotta watch this movie. Sounds good.
Yep. If that doesn't grab you, I don't know what will.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that's always been the thing. Is
yeah.
Great Muppets Take Manhattan. They went to college together.
Is it did Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito steal that idea from Kermit?
It was just a few years later.
Ivan Reitman. Jim Henson should have sued Ivan Reitman. Yeah, it was just a few years later. No, but so I gotta say that you also did. You and your daughter Ryan, who was 4 or 5. You have an adorable video of you singing "Life's a Happy Song."
Oh yeah,
which was the greatest. I love that.
Good. Yeah, we made it through the first 45 seconds of that song.
Sure.
That's pretty good for what? How old did you say?
She had to be a little older than that. She was.
It was 2011, so she would have been like 2 when it came out. Yeah.
That's really good then.
You're making me do dad math,
no,
man. Ryan was born in 2006.
Yeah. So she would have been like 5 when it came out.
Yeah. Yes. And that video, Reese is there playing the tambourine. Reese is my 8-year-old.
Yeah. So she was little.
So she must have been 18 months, 2 years old, something like that. Yeah. So Ryan was 6, 7, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyways,
when I think of you and Muppet stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's what I think of.
Yeah. Well, and I also enjoy Flight of the Conchords, so I was gonna love the music in that movie.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
What a great and James Bobin. I don't know if you know
the directing in that movie.
James Bobin directed both of those, Muppets 2011 and Muppets Most Wanted.
Okay.
He directed 12 episodes of Flight of the Conchords.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it was like a whole thing. That's why Kristen Schaal is in it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why Jermaine's in Muppets Most Wanted.
Sure.
I'm sure, whatever.
Right.
Like, yeah. So if they make a third one, Eugene Merman's got to be in anyway.
Would you believe I was just about to say that?
You're just about to say that about Eugene Merman?
Not in those exact words, but I was like, man, next time they got to find a role for Eugene Merman.
Eugene Merman and like poor Murray. That none of us are saying him. I don't remember Murray's real name right now.
Well, and then you make the transition from
Reese Darby.
The Conchords. Now that you've got.
You got Eugene Merman, then you bring in H. John Benjamin, but you already got Kristen Schaal.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so you start out with Kristen Schaal, and you're slowly transitioning from Flight of the Conchords cast references to Bob's Burgers. And who knows what comes next?
Right? Yeah.
You guys are going to be in something else in
the future is wide open, and I think that's a good place to stop for today. Listeners, please check out toughpigs.com on the website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all over the place. You can follow me on Twitter at Zeppo Marxist. You can follow Ryan at MeRyanRowe. Jordan, where, if anywhere, can the listeners find you on the line? All right, you're a man of mystery. You exist only in real life. It's like a reverse Johnny Mnemonic.
I'm off the grid.
And so if you're so inclined, give us a positive review on iTunes. And if you're so inclined, watch Flight of the Conchords if you haven't, because it's great. And tell all of your friends to listen to Moving Right Along. And join us again next week for another episode. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.